With Hollywood on strike, what's going to happen to our toys? Hello and welcome to Modern Toy Fair. I am your host, Mr. Modern Toy Fair, and I am joined by the founder of the Neck Illuminati, the delayer of shipments, the procrastinator of pruders, the perfect person, my YouTube wife, Mrs. Modern Toy Fair, Jarmar_games. But that's not all. I'm also joined by the man Modern Toy Fair has full custody over. The man out to his prime popped and he refuses to stop. The Twilight Knight, the master of Mac, the three-pump chump of taking the show off the rails, Nate. How you guys doing?
Hello.
I'm good. I'm under a different light.
You are.
So it's very obvious.
You're
But I had to
glowing.
get I wanted to get my new setup in for this week.
You sound
oh.
so sad about this.
Well, wait. So
It did take like a really long time. Like,
Oh, that's because
This
you have a
took,
lot of
like-
Marvel Legends.
yes, and this is only MCU. So, and it's actually 4 shelves. You can't see the bottom 2. And I did it backwards. So like newer stuff is up top.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Because that's the more
that's what
the new and the
matters.
shiny.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Hotness.
So, and I thought that was particularly important for tonight's topic.
It is very topical, and that's because right now, both the writers and actors are on strike because they are, getting grossly underpaid with the streaming services, and with the, introduction of AI, it's causing a bunch of potential issues, especially with what some studios want to do with some of the extras and the background actors. So first and foremost, like, we 100%, stand with them and hope that they get what they deserve. But as a toy channel, we're here to discuss how this is going to affect our toys. Not to diminish what they're going through, but realistically, especially with the recent hype around Deadpool 3, because they showed off some set photos and leaked some images, it's now in, production like halt, because Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman and all the other actors on set can't do their jobs while they're on strike. So,
I mean, they could.
but then they
But
would get kicked out of the Actors Guild. So that would
right.
yeah, you don't want to lose
Just want
your...
to,
Yeah, so technically, yes,
You don't wanna-
they could be scabs, but then they'd get kicked out of the guild and they'd lose their protections that come with the union of it.
Would they kick out Ryan Reynolds?
I mean, if he
I'm just
decided
saying,
he's very personable and everyone wants to sleep with him. But I think at the end of the day, if he decided to continue working for, especially with the things that Bob Iger said,
That's fair.
I feel like they probably be a little less forgiving.
Yeah.
But yes, toys. So obviously this means that there's going to be halt production of all movies, especially ones that have toy lines connected to them, like the MCU. There's, obviously other things out there. There's probably Transformers movies that are in development, probably another G.I. Joe movie in development at some point. Like, there's probably a lot of things that are waiting to get announced or so like that, to the point where even Comic-Con is gonna be pretty dried up. It's going back to like its roots because it's gonna have so few things there. Like even Marvel pulled out of their usual like Hall H presentation. And as far as for toys, obviously that means no MCU movies. Hasbro has no new MCU characters once we get through the things that are already filmed. So at this point we have the Marvels, we have the next season of Loki.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't realize that was
And I think that's
that is
only
done,
2
'cause
things left
that's
this year.
coming out in September. Yes, that is the only 2 things left this year. And honestly, I don't know what movie is after the Marvels, because I don't know what it is. I don't even know if it's done.
Well, I know that Deadpool got moved up to May of next year.
Man, not now.
Yeah, obviously not now. Well, I mean, it depends on if the strike ends quickly. It's possible.
I don't think it will.
I don't think it will either. I think it's going to last well into the fall, unfortunately. But yeah, so that means that Hasbro's going to have less MCU figures to put out, at least new ones, because they already have the Marvel's figures are already starting to ship to people.
Right,
with
because the
that
movie
one
was
way.
supposed to be out earlier
Mm-hmm.
this year.
It was supposed to be.
originally
It was
supposed to be out.
May, wasn't it? May or June?
I don't honestly remember, because I know Ant-Man initially was supposed to be August, and that got delayed or got moved up.
Yeah, they got
and
flipped
Marvel's
is what happened.
Got shifted. Yeah. So, but yeah, those.
So then it would have been
go.
February then, because that's when Ant-Man came out. Because they literally just switched dates on those, I believe.
Okay.
So we are getting the Marvels figures now. That Ant-Man wave is supposed to be hitting sometime soon. Some people have gotten it, some haven't, but I haven't seen any at stores.
That's a whole nother conversation, because I'm not so sure that you're gonna. So.
Oh, okay.
I could be totally wrong. I've been wrong before. I'll admit it. But the amount of Marvel Legends that are currently clearancing out at Target, I could just see them skipping a couple of waves. And this one, especially, being Ant-Man and a bunch of comic book characters, if anybody knows anything as far as being a buyer, they probably went, you know what? Because Big Bad Toy Store has had them for 2 months.
But I can't imagine Target canceling their order, because they would have had to order it in advance. They wouldn't have just been like, "Oh, they're announced. We're ordering them now."
I think when they solicited them, which was back in February when the movie came out, they may have been able to cut back their. I don't know. I'm not a buyer, but we've often talked about the pendulum swinging the other way. I could see a lot less of these being in production, and I could see some retailer. I mean, how many waves has Target not got, or Walmart not got?
That's true.
Like they've only had like 3 or 4 of the last year, and so
Walmart isn't as clearance happy though.
No, but they also don't get in as much either. At least haven't been.
Yeah, like unless it's supposed to come on like an end cap or a shipper, they're usually like a 3 to 4 months behind kind of situation. But yeah, so it does kind of raise a lot of questions, because there's not very much that's on the table left for that they can put out that isn't already in production. So and on the DC side, there's some stuff coming out, but Todd, I mean, he makes movie figures, but if it's not Batman, he doesn't really give a shit. So I don't think it's going to affect them too much, because they do some DCU figures, and usually those are the peg warmers. And then he has the 20 Batmans, a few side characters here and there from the rest of the DC, and then of course he has his Batmobiles that he keeps repainting. So I think Todd will be fine. Hasbro, on the other hand, I think is where the problem will be, and even import companies won't really have too much problem, because they're always pretty far behind, because they do one figure at a time. And you're waiting a year after it's solicited, so they'll be back in production before they even get caught up to the current stuff with the imports.
It'll be interesting, because Hasbro is the one that's going to feel it the most. They are the ones that do the most movie properties, existing or in the future. But also, there was a list. Like, because you mentioned no new MCU figures. There was, interestingly, a list that was leaked a couple of weeks ago, or maybe a week ago. I don't really remember, and I don't have it in front of me, so I can't say for sure all the things. But there was a couple of Marvel Legends waves that were listed on there, and one of which was a new Best of the MCU wave, which was going to include, So it was like, for instance, it was like a Mark II Iron Man was one. A new Captain America from the Winter Soldier, because that one's really outdated. Things like that. So I think they're already, they weren't maybe planning on it because they're so far ahead, but they were at least thinking ahead that there is a gap in movies potentially, because the Marvels was, or whatever, Ant-Man or whatever was supposed to be later that year, there was a big gap in between for the first time in a long time. So I think that's why we're seeing this, this Disney Plus wave again, and we're going to see this Best of the MCU. Now, interestingly enough, which is why I don't know if this list is real or if things have changed, but they did list a Deadpool 3 movie wave. And unless they release a PG-13 version of it, Hasbro has always said that they won't release figures for R-rated movies. So, will they carry that forward with this? I'm not being a judge of any type. I'm just saying that was their thing.
But the Deadpool comics aren't PG or PG-13, really.
They don't really swear in them though. Like
I mean,
he doesn't
I
he
guess they
doesn't-
do.
he
They do
doesn't use-
censor it, I guess, with like the little signs and
doesn't-
stuff.
He doesn't say like the actual F word in the comics, and he says it a lot in the movies.
So I will give you that. Yeah, in theory, that is a caveat, but I feel like even then, like, if you're a parent and you're letting your kid read Deadpool comics, I feel like that's
I also though,
a whole other
Michael,
bag
let's
of
be
worms.
honest here. What kid is reading comics?
got me there. I mean, at this point, what adult is reading comics? Because there's not very many left, and it's a mix because comics aren't as good as they could be, and
it's also because comics has had basically the same audience for the last 35 to 40 years. So how many times can they tell the same story to the same audience?
Mm-hmm.
It used to be that it was generational because it was mostly kids.
But the problem is they aren't doing anything interesting to entice a new audience, and when they do, it upsets the old audience, and then their sales dip, and they go back.
So we solved
the same people for 40, 50 years. Like, I don't know. Like, what else can you do with Superman? I don't know. Like,
I will give it
the tales have been told.
I will give it to Eastman though, because like they revamped Ninja Turtles with Last Ronin. And technically, they revamped the IDW Turtles by turning them to furries, according to Jarmar.
I was about to say that's only because the IDW is so boring. They were like, we got to do something.
Listen, The Last Ronin is great. Don't get me wrong. Please do not misunderstand what I'm about to say.
Tread lightly.
But that's not like that's the most original concept ever.
No, it's not. But it's still like for the turtles, it's mildly.
It's a future tale. How many times have we told a post-apocalyptic tale of certain characters where there's almost no survivors, and the survivors that are old, and they have like a robot leg or arm. That's all. It's every story ever. It just hadn't been done by the turtles yet.
Exactly.
Not to take away from it. It's for what it is. It's great. It's absolutely great. But again, we're not telling anything new. We're not telling any new stories. We're way off track.
We are, yes.
Yeah, I like that we went into Last Ronin slander now.
Yes.
No, I'm gonna get some mail for that one.
It's
gotta be all from
completely
us.
Okay statement to say as the board director. I give up my joke. I was gonna say head director of the board for all things Turtle. Nate, it is okay, and we will back you.
I thought you were gonna say like the leader of the board who decided to underpaid all the actors, and that's why we're doing this episode or something.
My goodness, not at all. That was not where I was going. But yeah, so can we talk about the leaks? Would that be like a good idea?
You're talking about Deadpool?
No, not the Deadpool thing. That I'm confused on because that doesn't make any sense. That seems very contradictory. That's like Todd saying that we can't include guns because Warner Brothers won't let us.
But that is a Warner Brothers thing, though.
I know. I'm just saying that's so
across
stupid.
the board of like even Mezco like had troubles. Like that's why Mr. Freeze was delayed for so long.
I know, and I'm just pointing out how stupid that is.
Oh,
the ironic part about all this is that Hasbro now owns Kenner, and Kenner in the '90s released like 4 kids based on R-rated movies.
Oh yeah,
Police Academy, RoboCop, Terminator,
Alien,
Predator. So, and now they're like, which their market is, a quarter of which for sure is adults.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, no R-rated movies. That's why everything was branded with Deadpool 2, because they did the Once Upon a Deadpool.
That's so dumb.
Yeah. And again, that's also why Venom was so late, because Venom was originally greenlighted as what was going to be an R-rated movie. They wanted it to be violent. Mm-hmm. And so Hasbro didn't do it until way later, and they're like, "Oh, we can do it," and that's why it looks really good, because it's actually based on the movie and not pre-production. Which, depending on
legalities, though.
I guess they could go ahead with development of certain lines, but they wouldn't be able to release them or do anything like that until the movie was.
Yeah, because I imagine with likeness rights, they wouldn't be allowed to release those actors' likenesses without the strike going. I would assume. Obviously, we don't know.
Large assumption, but yeah.
As a vintage collection fan, I love this, because right now, constantly, they're trying to chase that new media. And, Black Series, especially, they get all these new things and all right, whatever, cool. But when they don't have certain new things to do, we can start going back to some of the older movies or gaps that they've done really across the board. We have 11 theatrical movies and now a ton of shows. Let's go back and mine some of that stuff. And also give us a Luke, Leia, Han, and Obi-Wan Kenobi from the original Star Wars. That'd be nice. I would like that. Please. That would be cool.
I think that would be great, but at the same time, I feel like I just want to like burst your bubble because is the strike going to be like, even if it is until the fall, that would have to already be kind of like ready in their back pocket. Like, we're assuming that Hasbro has the ability to just like pivot and be like,
no, because actually yes, you are correct. And if I gave that impression, I apologize.
No, I'm just saying in general.
We're not going to see this
effect until like a year from now.
For like a year from now. Because as of right now, all the movies and projects that are coming out through the spring are pretty much done and going to come. Yeah, but next summer.
Yeah, I see what you mean. That's fair.
Right now, we're not going to have. I mean, depending on how long this lasts, and I unfortunately think it's going to last a long time. I think you're very optimistic with the fall or post summer. I'm thinking more maybe Thanksgiving. Maybe
well, in my defense, fall does last till November, so we're in the same area.
I mean, I can't remember now if you said fall or after summer.
I said fall. I never said after
okay.
summer.
All right. That's fine. Fair. But as of now, like, what are they going to put out? And that's the thing. Ultimately, the big companies are screwing themselves because people are already not going to the movies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Like, every movie with the exception of Spider-Man and Guardians of the Galaxy underperformed this year across the board.
I see you're talking about for Marvel.
No, I'm talking about every movie.
There was
Indiana Jones underperformed.
I know Indiana Jones underperformed, but there was
The Flash underperformed. Fast 10 underperformed. Mission Impossible underperformed at a 96% Rotten Tomatoes critic score. It underperformed.
Huh.
Until you said that, I was gonna say, like, we're not. Do anyone really expect these movies like Fast 10?
I mean,
I guess I see what you mean.
Those movies were. I mean,
they
there's a reason there's 10 of them.
Yeah,
they were all really successful up until a point. But people I've been beating this drum for a while now because of the fact that movies are coming out. My first one I noticed was Creed 3, which was a hit. It was not, it was a hit, and it was out to stream within 30 days.
Which is terrible.
30 days. That's now the new precedent they're setting. So I remember when Alice in Wonderland, the Tim Burton one, came out in theaters and then came out on home video or whatever you want to call it. It was 3 months, and I was shocked. I was like, 3 months? That is crazy short.
I thought the average was 90 days, like, at that point.
Because you're a youngin', but that was the first time that really started to go that way. Back in my day, I'm old enough that I had to rent a VCR, or my dad did. We didn't have
not the VHS, the VCR itself.
It's the
VCR itself.
Is that why they were always at Blockbuster? I never understood that. I thought who doesn't have?
That was like, I'm talking like 1982, 83.
So before we were even thought of.
Before it was born.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was a little kid, but yeah, it was in this huge gray box. So if you dropped it, it was fine. And we would go and we'd rent. Because you had to pay for a membership. Like, being a video store owner in the 80s, oh my God. That money was just, oh. But, I mean, movies, could go like a year before they came out, That was, and that's why they made so much money in theaters. Because, you look at E.T., it made $400 million in 1982 when it was $1.50 to go to a movie. That's a lot of money. And so people were going all the time. In fact, E.T. didn't come out on VHS for, I think, 7 years. So, look, you can if you want to doubt me, look it up.
That's crazy.
So the fact that we're getting Creed 3 within 30 days, Fast 10, 19 days. The Flash, 19 days. Now, both of those underperformed, and so it's 19 days. But a hit is 30 days. Yeah. So I asked both of you, what's the incentive to go to the theater. So I can, so my butt
distraction
can
free
rumble on a
and
D-box
I don't have to worry about anyone talking through the movie.
I mean, depending on what times you
in
go,
the
but
theater.
Yeah.
Have you been to a movie recently and had anyone not
It's
talk?
distraction frenzy.
Unless it's like a situation like I have to go at like a later time. Usually, like I try to go at the earlier showings when there's less
That's
people.
fair.
It's
You're
just
on grandpa time
as a
now.
general rule, they're not distraction free. It's very annoying. I mean, the last movie we went and saw, which was
Also, you guys are going
Insidious.
to like the bistro, so like
Right.
that adds an extra level of distraction.
Well,
Yeah.
and that does add an extra, and that's really the only incentive. You want to go
That's
to a
true.
movie and have dinner. That's because
true.
otherwise. But again, I mean, our TVs are so big,
Yeah.
right? We got great sound systems at home. You sit close enough, your screen is real
Michael's
big.
like, no. Yeah,
Well,
I mean, to be honest, this is like the I was gonna say Tom Brady. What is wrong with my brain right now? This is a Tom Cruise Nolan North like argument of like theaters are there for a reason, but I agree with you.
Hold
I
on,
feel
hold
like
on.
maybe
Did
I'm
you say
a,
Nolan
like,
North?
Did I say Nolan North?
You mean Christopher
Yeah,
Nolan?
Christopher Nolan. Jesus, I told you my brain is like it's mush right now. I don't know. What's
I was
going
like,
on,
I
but,
remember Nathan Drake arguing with Tom Cruise about theaters being an
I was gonna say,
experience.
like, I
no,
know
it's just
that
they're
name.
not like slash, you know what I mean? But they're like arguing that the theaters here exist for big blockbusters and whatnot.
Right.
But I'm like the barometer of like moviegoers because I used to go to movies all the time.
Right.
And now I'm just kind of like, I'll just wait till it comes out.
But
like,
at the same
digital.
time, it's because you have a kid now.
I mean, it's like
You have to go through extra hoops just to go.
But
it's one small barrier. That's all it took was one small
Right.
barrier for me to just be like, nah, I'll just watch something. And
I
also, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, when we started our film club thing, when we would go every week, I mean, by that time my kid was already 3. So I mean, I had a kid. Now, granted, my wife wasn't going. That was a whole other story because it was a whole World of Warcraft thing. But that's how it started. But we used to go to a movie every week. So from the age of having a kid, and so for like 6 years, we went every week. Every week.
It's like it's to me it's more of just like the excuse of being like, yeah, we'd have to do all like, yeah, just let's not go. Like, and it's easier to watch
but
amazing
again,
TV.
just to prove my point, well, there's that too. But you're going to be okay. Yeah, that great movie came out, and we can't make it work tonight. We're going to miss out. But it's also going to be streaming in 2 weeks.
Nah, it's different. That's 2 weeks, not a month.
19 days.
19
Michael.
days is like.
When did you say 19 days?
Fast.
For Flash and for Fast 10.
Well, the Flash was a flop from the beginning, so that doesn't surprise me.
But
the Fast 10 one
is
a little more shocking.
But look at it again. Well, come on. The early word on the Flash was it was the greatest fucking thing ever to happen to superheroes, and then it came out, and then everybody went. But that was the word.
But even then,
you can't tell me that
like
it wasn't.
that came out, and it like opening weekend before everyone had a chance to really shit on it, it underperformed.
Right, I know.
So like the word
saying,
of like it's the greatest thing ever to happen to superhero movies like just felt like a bunch of shills.
But that was the buzz. I'm not saying the movie. I didn't see it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm part of the problem.
Yeah, that was because say me too. I just
Nate's single-handedly killing the theater experience.
And I love Michael Keaton. To see him as Batman again is great. But again, I knew if I don't hit it that first weekend, then I've got at most 3 weekends to wait until I can stream it.
And honestly, with that movie, what you saw in the commercials is pretty much what you get with
but
the
it's
Batman
not
parts.
It's not even that movie, Michael.
I know.
Point.
I'm just saying that with that movie, though,
you've
seen all of Michael Keaton that you get.
He hates
essentially,
the movie.
The whole Barbenheimer thing is going to be a success, or seemingly could be, because people are excited about going that weekend to see those 2 movies. Mm-hmm. I think some people are going to be really shocked when they see what Oppenheimer really is.
Yeah.
And they're like, "This isn't fun at all."
I wanted to see things go boom in America.
Yeah.
Oh no, I saw things go boom elsewhere.
Yeah. I know I'm way off point here, but
I think
it's still on brand. The whole point is that the theater experience is dying and this is going to add fuel to the fire because if there's no movies next summer, which is when the biggest time of the year for movies is, it's going to hurt even more.
Right.
So it's still on topic. And I agree. I think it's going to be a very rough year next year for the movie theaters, which is unfortunate. For me, though, I think that the streaming a month after is a problem, but I think the bigger problem is the price. The price
Oh, sure.
of
No,
what?
of
you
a ticket
put
at a
that
movie.
in there with it. Yep. Put that in there with it.
Because a
The
ticket
price
to the movie,
of a ticket?
yeah, it's fucking
price of a movie
13
ticket.
bucks like a piece. If you don't go to a matinee.
I mean,
So-
one, I call bullshit because you have a Cinemark near you. You sign up for Cinemark Club, it's $9.99,
I'm not
and then
doing
the
that.
tickets are $9.99. You get for $10 if you go to the movie once. It's one ticket,
But the movies I want to see don't come out every month, so I have no reason to do that.
but then you also
They-
have an extra ticket. So when you go to the movies, now you have a free ticket.
Let's take
It
this out of
carries
the.
over.
It does. It does.
So I just don't. I don't think pricing is
it-
like the
it is,
reason why a
though.
lot of
But
people
no.
aren't going.
It is. It is though, Jamar. It absolutely is. We both see the benefit of that thing. We pay $10 a month. We get our tickets. We can get other tickets for $10. I have a friend for whatever reason he does not have that. He bought our Indiana Jones tickets, so we got D-box tickets.
Okay,
for
that is
night.
expensive.
Right.
D-box is expensive.
It was $45 for two
Yeah.
tickets.
Jesus
Okay.
Christ. All to be in a
So
D-bag seat?
again, I ask you, what's the incentive?
But that's because you got chairs that move back and forth.
Sure.
If you
Sure,
did
but
one row
regular price-
behind
I mean, it
it
kept him
was
awake, so.
back to $10.
Regular price is still like $13, $14. If
Mhm.
you're going on
Yeah.
a date, that's almost $30. If you're going on a date, you're probably getting food. Even the bistro, which I think is worth it, is still like $50 for 3 people.
Yeah. Well,
So what we're
like that for
saying,
2
though,
people sometimes.
Is just the economy in general. Because even if you just go like bowling or something and go to dinner, it's going to cost you about 40 to
It is.
$50.
It is, and
So,
we can blame anybody you want. You can blame. You
I
can
was like,
blame.
is he going to say it?
You can blame Joe Biden. You can blame Donald Trump. You can blame whoever you want. Okay, but this goes back to my original point: is that because movie theater prices are outrageous because the studios are demanding more and more of a percentage.
Mm-hmm.
So theaters have no choice but to raise the price of the tickets, which they make nothing off of. So also, someone like Bob Iger can make 400 times more than his lowest paid worker.
Yeah.
So
Also, that's a problem with pretty much every company.
Yeah,
Large,
it is.
mega
Yeah.
company, I guess is what
Yeah.
I'd say.
That's-
but
that's
But
yeah,
this is something that affects an entire industry.
sure. Yeah, I agree, and that's also the reason why we're talking about this tonight. But yeah, I just see that like I guess it's not enough doom to like I guess who the only people we're talking about really is Hasbro and MCU figures because that's really the biggest effect
Yeah, because like
on
we
this.
said, Todd
Well,
isn't going to see
yeah.
a fucking
Like-
problem because realistically, there's not a lot of DC movies to begin with, and even then, he doesn't give a shit about them.
is rolling. Super 7's
They
just
can
gonna
tend to
continue to
go
pretend
back-
that they're making
Well,
something.
and I do think we're going to see way more nostalgia-based things. So, like G.I. Joe is going to be
yeah.
huge next year, as
Mhm.
if it already wasn't on fire.
Yeah.
Wait until you watch 2 days ago's OnlyFigs, or no, a week and a half ago's OnlyFigs. The
God.
G.I. Joe stuff is on fire. I think I don't know how much more they can do with Transformers new wise, but like I said before with Star Wars, going back to that because it's all old people buying them anyway. Kids aren't buying them. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about appealing to that. Just make all the old figures that we want. Super 7 is going to make all the old figures that we want, and maybe without a bunch of MCU figures and whatever movie figures that are in production no longer being in production, maybe some of these companies can actually get some factory time. Going to your nearest Ollie's can tell you maybe Hasbro should not ship so much shit right now.
That's fair.
Maybe
this
they
could
should
actually
chill out.
work out for Hasbro because if they have less product on the shelves, maybe it will actually sell versus sitting there and ending up at Ollie's for pennies on the dollar.
Or having to clearance a wave of Marvel Legends a month after it gets there because they got to make room for the next one.
Mm-hmm.
And people are hip to it now.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like the movie theater thing. It literally is just it's a problem all across. Like people are like, oh well, it's expensive to go to the movies, but if I wait 30 days, I'll see it on Paramount or Max or whatever.
Yep.
And with action figures, it's become, oh well, I'll wait 2 to 4 weeks and it'll be on clearance because they have to make room for the next wave. So
Yep.
it really has just kind of all around become a problem. And I guess my concern is what, like, obviously we're not going to see this really hit Hasbro until next year. So aside from maybe the greatest hits line, if they can do it,
Right.
what does Hasbro do? Because I don't see, given the way Hasbro's done business the past couple of years, I don't see them halting production and releasing less things. I think they're going to try to find a way to fill in the gaps. But even the
It's
comic
going to be
line
interesting.
is at a point where it's just grasping
Right.
at like deep cuts.
Right.
So-
We're remaking figures that Hasbro has already done. Granted, some of them were really out of date and we needed it. We've pretty much hit every Toy Biz figure for the most part. We're now maybe like a year behind on modern comics, so much so that most of these modern looks are gone by the time the figure comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Because comic fans are fickle and they don't want that
They're
shit.
like, I don't want my Miles Morales in a turtleneck.
Right.
I mean,
right.
that's pretty fair. So I guess what's the reason? Your thought with the greatest hits line? We're doing that in air quotes every time now. That's not going to be possible due to like rights. You think?
Yeah, 'cause
No,
yeah.
no, that will still be.
You think it
It's
would
already-
be?
That's what I was going to say.
Oh,
Like they
absolutely.
already kind of have the rights to use those. So
Not
they're
necessarily,
not, like,
because I have to assume that they have the likeness rights through contracts through Disney and everything, and through the actors. But if the actors on strike, I know there's a lot of things union wise that can't be done involving those actors right now. So I don't know if it would affect them potentially.
I don't think so, because the movies that are already in production are able to come out. They just can't promote it. So the same would be with product based on their face,
Yeah, why would
especially
they
for
change?
a movie that's already like come out, 12 years ago. Like that, Hasbro has that under contract to be able to do whatever the fuck they want with that until that Marvel license expires. So they could technically go back and do any of the existing Marvel properties. And I'll be honest with you, setting all this shit up, it's really not until you get to like, honestly, it's like Thor Ragnarok is the first one that really started to like fill out. It took a little while, but then like Black Panther was like 2 waves of a bunch of figures for the movie, and then everything up through Infinity War, you got like 5 or 6 figures a wave. We used to get one in a wave. You get one movie figure in a wave. So there's still a ton, and I know they've gone back on a lot. There's still a ton of characters they could do though. Some of them I don't remember the names, like the bad guy from Doctor Strange, Matt Mikkelsen's character, Malekith from Thor: The Dark World. That was one that was on the list, but it was weird because it was Thor: The Dark World, Thor from Thor: The Dark World, which we just got in the 10 years line, the MCU
that's right.
10
We
years
got,
line.
we got Fat Thor in
Yeah.
that one.
No, that's the Infinity.
Saga,
the Infinity Saga,
the
that's
one.
right.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
they have too many
So-
MCU lines. I can't.
Yeah,
keep
they've
track.
done this so many
Yeah, they
times
have-
now that I'm
Yeah,
not
it's
as
this one.
impressed by
It's
it.
really good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's true. They could go
Yeah.
back and redo some of these faces on the older ones that haven't had a
Oh,
chance
yeah.
to be redone.
I would love to see, because like an actual Thor from the original movie, the one that came out, it's awful. He's got the helmet on that doesn't come off. It's so old. I'm not going to reach it because I'll knock something over, but it's real janky. But I have it because I
What
have
about-
them all. But
Have they re-released all of like the Avengers in like a thing? Like,
Well, I
did-
mean,
you
Tony
know,
hasn't
No,
changed much,
not-
so
That's fair.
I mean, this he's had like
Like
3
the-
different like drastic changes in the suits, but like for the most part, Hasbro wise, I feel like they release the same ones over and over again. At
Like
least it
the-
looks like it. Guessing not.
no, because I just had to sort them and figure out. There is like 15 to 20 different Iron Mans back here, and they're all fucking different. There's like 7 or 8 War Machines. Okay, don't tell me
Really?
they're all the same.
I just love that you have them. That's the worst part of this. Because at one point you were like, because you were like, oh, I'm gonna cut down so that way I just like get like the
thought it
main
was
version
comic.
of. Well, he cut the comics out completely.
Oh,
I thought.
Yeah.
Of that version.
Yeah.
Oh, you
So,
mean
like,
so you're not gonna have
like-
duplicates from the same movie, but you'll have duplicates of the same character.
I'll have duplicates in the same movie. If I find them on clearance, I'm going to buy them. That's just how it is.
So,
So,
I'm saying
but-
like Iron Man 3 Iron Man, you're not gonna have another Iron Man 3 Iron Man, but
if it
you'll
looks
have
different-
Iron Man in all of his different suits because it's technically different suits.
I will have any existing on-screen Iron Man they have. I have 4 Iron Men from Iron Man 3.
There's 4 different versions?
Released. There's like 25 suits in that movie.
Yeah, but he doesn't wear most of them.
Yeah, I mean,
Right, but
but
they're
what's
in the
stopping them
movie?
from making it? That's true.
But that's
I'm
that's
thinking
different.
Of Tony
That's not
Stark,
the
but
that's not
yeah.
the same. I'm literally talking about like Tony being in the suit is what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
that's what I was thinking. More of like Tony.
So
Stark.
are there 15 Tony in the suit Iron Mans? Or there's 15
yeah.
different Iron Man suits?
There's 3 from the first movie alone.
Three
So
Tony
we've
Stark.
got
Mark II,
the
the Mark III.
yeah. So we've got the and also what there isn't there 4 because don't they have the caramel colored one that came with Happy?
Yeah, Happy.
That's from Iron Man 3.
It is.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't remember much about these movies. Is what I'm finding out.
I mean, it has been like 10 years.
And then there's
It's been longer
the
than
Mark
that.
4, the Mark 5,
Listen,
the Mark 6
I know
from
that
Iron Man 2.
I know that they're at like Mark 97 and a half by the time
But
we get to
they're all
Endgame.
different.
I know that they're all slightly different, but some of them are more similar than others. That's why I'm like, do you really need 15 Tony Starks?
Well,
That was my thought behind it.
Honestly, I've been collecting these, give or take like a year or two. I've been collecting these since they started coming out. So I don't necessarily know that, and that I thought maybe Iron Man 3 would be the last thing of Iron Man. I didn't think he was going to be in any more movies or whatever. I didn't know there was going to be 67 more after that one.
I just wasn't sure if it was a situation because you like me, even though you like to point it out more than me than you sell stuff that you don't need. So my misunderstanding was that the MCU line, you were cutting it down to just one specific version of each character, like a definitive Iron Man, definitive Captain America, and everything else was wayward. So that's where I got confused.
No, it would be like, when the Spider-Man No Way Home, 3-pack came out, that version of the MCU Spider-Man was better than the one that was released for the movie. So I'll get rid of that one. But they're technically the same figure.
Yeah. Versus like you're not going to get rid of your No Way Home or your Homecoming versions.
Right.
Okay.
If they're slightly different, I'll probably have them. I don't have everything, but I
that's where I was confused. That's why I was trying to keep. I was trying to keep track.
I have some doubles of some just because like you'd get different head sculpts later.
Oh.
No, you get different head sculpts later, so then you could show them in different ways. So that way, like that way, it doesn't sting so bad when they re-release the same figure over again, like in like another year. Like they release Rescue as part of a wave, so I got it, and then like a year later, they released the Rescue with the Gwyneth Paltrow head and the mask up, and it's like, oh, damn it! And so you get that. At least you can take one of those other heads and put it on the other one, and that have technically 2 different versions. So
yeah,
this is way far off.
It is, which is a perfect segue into I have sent you the Patreon.
Oh
yeah. Let's see.
So if you want to prep that,
entry is more on topic than we are.
Yes, because at this point I feel like we've kind of gone in circles, and we're not going to see the effects of this for a while, and it really just comes down to what Hasbro cannot do, and if my concern is true and it's going to be hindrance on them of what they can do with the likenesses due to the strike, that could be more effective on them than anything, because like we discussed, the comic book line is pretty much some deep cuts for the most part. So if they have to go strictly to that, I think it's going to really hurt them, because they sell well to the diehard fans, but that's 25% of their market. That's not going to do a whole lot for them.
And who's to say though that they don't start going into a different property at this point? I don't know.
I can't see them
hypothetical
not having Marvel figures on the shelves at any point in time. I feel like that with that property being just the name behind it alone, I don't see them ever wanting to be at a point where they don't have that or Star Wars on the shelves.
Now, I'll just throw this out. We don't have to have a deep discussion, but what if they were to pivot more towards more of like the animated lines of the MCU? So maybe they do like
more.
Well, I guess they already did those. Never mind. Not of MCU, but it's just Marvel in general. But they already did have their, the VHS sets.
They are doing.
Like that.
They're not done with those. They're still actively doing those. But those have been Hasbro Pulse exclusive for the most part, or fan channel exclusive. Those haven't been at Walmart and Target.
Times are hard. Welcome to the shows. I'm just saying that it could be something like they start pushing more, but yeah, we don't have to go. I'm curious what the Patreon member has said.
All right. We ready?
Ready
This is
for the
from
dramatic reading.
our good pal Sukma Taint.
Is it Sukma? I thought it was Sukma.
It is Sukma.
They
Did I
said
say
Sukma. I
Sukma?
don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't know what that means.
All right. Breaking up my mojo here, buddy. All right. Did Hasbro cause the writer's strike? This would allow them to reissue older MCU figures with existing tooling instead of putting money into new tooling for new design. Also, without new shows and movies to watch, people will spend more time playing toys. Hasbro clearly has the most to gain from the writer's strike. Hasbro's rolling the world right now. They even gave their CEO a troll name, Chris Cox. I'm willing to bet Mr. Cox is sitting in a boardroom lighting cigars with plastic-free packaging as he laughs about the trillions of dollars he will make at the expense of writers and actors. Also, my voice is really sexy. No, I'm not saying my voice is really sexy. I'm reading the Patreon. But yes, my voice is really sexy.
I am oddly aroused right now.
Oddly, come on.
Wow, that's pretty deep right there.
That's a
I
bold
think
take.
that's neck Illuminati level.
Yeah, that's
like.
That's a bold strategy, Cotton.
But you know what?
Let's see if it pays off for him.
Got to think about it. Maybe he's right.
Yeah, so we're at the part of the show where we're going to ask you for your opinion in the comments. Let us know. Do you think that the writer and actor strike is going to have any effect on the action figure world at all? Do you think that we're just being outrageous at, thinking there's a chance it could? Do you think it's going to be worse than we do? Let us know. Yes.
Also, tell us why you don't go to the movies.
Yes, tell us why you don't. Please let us know
Tell
if
us
it's
if
because
you
the
do.
streaming, if it's because it's too expensive, and let us know if you have the stupid Cinemark Plus app or whatever it is, membership thing.
It's not stupid.
It's
It
not
actually
stupid.
really does pay. You also get a discount, 20% discount on concessions. Dude, that shit comes off. Like it's
and
like
no fees.
$70. No fees. No fees. No online fees. It rolls over. I can buy additional tickets for that same price. And I can share them with family and friends.
Listen,
don't.
they are not a sponsor, so can we quit shilling for them?
Hey man,
They're not
if
yet.
I like a product, I like a product. I don't know what to tell you.
God.
Our whole other show is based on liking products and showing
It
off
is, and we need to
awesome.
get to that other show. So can we
We do.
can we quit the unpaid ad?
All right.
All right. So if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. As always, you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Modern Toy Fair. If you're a fan of the channel, though, you can head over to patreon.com/Modern Toy Fair. Got a bunch of different tiers of different rewards. You can watch the episodes of the podcast early. You can get physical prints of the photos I take, and you can be guest on our live stream, which we're about to be late for. All of that and more, so check that out for us. Link will be in the description below. You can check Jarmar out over at metal.tv/Jarmar Games. You can check, actually, Nate, what do you got for us?
Well, we have a new podcast from the mind,
Oh.
also of
Oh my God,
Sukma
you're
Taint.
actually saying it. Okay. I wasn't
yeah,
sure
yeah.
if you were going to.
Ah, sure. Let's do it. Let's do it. So the new podcast is called Ruined by Public Masturbators. And this is a hard-hitting show. We do mean hard. That explores toy accessories that have been ruined by public masturbators. From trench coats to open grip hands to more. Don't forget that Tarzan. Tune in and have a great time. But not too good of a time, you perv.
I just want to say Jazzwares makes every AEW action figure have those, like, clearly suggestive, backed by the dumpster hands.
Oh, I thought we were going to talk about a different dumpster, and I was going to be like, am I going to have to start buying AEW figures?
No, not the Wendy's one. But yeah, hopefully we see you next week.
That's not what I meant either, but okay.
Oh, Yeah, no. Hopefully see you next week. Same toy time, same Toy Fair channel. Thank you for watching.